In terms of trends and opportunities, we're just seeing a whole lot. This is even pre-COVID and all. COVID, one big trend that we've been seeing for the last 7 to 8 years is really the whole space of health and nutrition overall. Whether it was people looking for protein-based products, people looking for Ayurveda and stuff like that, based products, which is more for some specific wellness areas, women's health, things like that. We've been seeing this like consistently growing in India for sure. Interestingly, and I don't know why, but this is a space where we see mostly a lot of the startups doing a lot of things, right? You see the large companies, they haven't yet made a big dent in that space. It's mostly the smaller guys who are getting into these areas and these niches and building up these niches. The other area we're seeing is around products being a lot cleaner in terms of label, getting it to be with no refined sugars, or it is with no preservatives, or it's got no e-numbers. This is something which was probably a trend in the US several years ago, and it's still there, but it's becoming more and more evident in India. However, it is still a very urban phenomenon. If you go a little bit deeper into India, tier 2, tier 3 towns, etc., people are not so much bothered. But in the urban India, it's definitely around this whole space of health, wellness, clean labels. People are becoming more aware. However, my personal belief is it's still very niche and very urban and very on the higher cost side. So how mass will it become as an offering in India? Still a long ways. Plant-based, plant protein, etc. It's super expensive. So I think that is one thing that we still need to crack. When I say health and nutrition, there's also a lot that's happening in the space of nutraceuticals and functional health. One thing that I have seen post-COVID is the whole space of immunity. Everybody's trying all kinds of things with it. But I think people are becoming a lot more, and this is something we've seen with a lot of consumer work, they become a lot more mindful about what they're eating. You're seeing a lot of indulgent snacking also happen. So there is a nice big opportunity out there for indulgent chocolates and indulgent things. Like people are popping it all the time. So I think there's one interesting space. The other is the other extreme of it, which is really saying being very mindful of what I'm eating. This is where the nutraceutical world is doing quite well, which is doing these more regimented doses of saying I had an ashwagandha, popped in an ashwagandha gummy or whatever in the morning, things like that. So categories like gummies are actually also doing decently, not as well as the US, but decently. From a Tasty Tales perspective was interesting for us because we saw during COVID, we used to sell like some 3,000 packets. And with COVID, this whole thing of trying at home and cooking at home and experimenting cuisines and things like that has also become another interesting trend. So I would say actually for F&B, it's not a nice thing to say, but I think it's a great time to be because it's like you have everything moving in your direction in terms of the trends that you want to see, whether it's health, nutrition, indulgence,